I mean, that's smart, though.
Yeah, it's smart. Security.
Smart. But here's where it gets really weird.
Trick or treat!
We're here in the pumpkin patch at the end of Mayfield Place, and we are celebrating on this episode May 31st, which is...
This is what I need, Carol. I need this.
Burbs Day. May 31st, that means we're past halfway to Halloween. This is the beginning of getting ready for Halloween. And why do you guys, like the Burbs kind of, and this time of year kind of starts getting you set up for the Halloween season?
The Burbs is a perfect spooky summer movie. It's that 153 days left till Halloween. It has that spooky vibe. There's always that one house on the block. Maybe there's two, but usually everybody has this story. Even Joe Dante said it in the making of the Burbs, where he's like, everybody has a story about that one house that they don't go to, that they don't know who lives there. It's spooky. You never see anybody going in, coming out. And we had a lot of those houses in our old neighborhood for Halloween.
It's right around this time of year. School's about ready to get out. You stay up a little bit later, go out into the streets. You start noticing the weird neighbors. And sometimes the end of the school year prompts like people to move at that time, because if they have kids, they're like, well, we're not going to do it in the middle of the school year. So they kind of do it around summertime. So you notice those weird people who move into your neighborhood. So it is like the perfect time.
That's right. And you have the Burbs on in the background, watching it, drinking a few hundred beers.
When you're hanging out late on like these nights at around this time, you hear like the crickets and you hear the dogs barking in the neighborhood. And it definitely has that feel of when you're trick-or-treating.
The cicadas.
Exactly.
Skip is hanging out and handing out some Halloween candy that you might not want to eat. You know what I'm saying? An interesting tidbit, though, this is what I think is really cool about the tie-in to the Burbs and us, the Halloweeniacs, is we all live on a cul-de-sac.
We do.
God, I love this street.
This is true.
Those cul-de-sacs were a little bit weird. There's only one way in and one way out.
That's it.
Neighbors from hell.
That's the thing that I wanted to ask you guys on this episode, and that is this that far-fetched? Are there neighbors that you've had in your life on the blocks you've lived on, maybe that you live on right now, that can pass as a Klopek family?
The Klopeks moved in.
Klopeks? Klopeks.
Klopek.
Who are super weird or creepy or perhaps doing something that's a little shady. Matt, I know you've talked about a particular neighbor that's kind of an oddball, so I would love to hear more about that. Greg, I have no idea if you've ever...
No, he's not even home to even watch the neighbors, so he doesn't even know.
I mean, no, I've never had any creepy neighbors.
Ever? Even when you were a kid?
Yes, we did.
Well, no, I'm saying currently.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
You always hear about these stories online or on the news, like, oh, I never thought it would happen in my neighborhood. This person kept to themselves, very nice.
all of a sudden Geraldo's coming in.
They're either, a serial killer or mutilating people in their basements or like kidnapping people and keeping them in their basements.
You do hear that.
And yeah, you hear that a lot, and you don't think it's ever going to come to your neighborhood.
You don't remember there was a house. I remember this vividly. I don't remember going to it during Halloween. We just always bypassed it because if you didn't see any lights on, they didn't have any decorations, usually that was an indication, all right, just blow past that house. They're probably not home. Sometimes people do leave the lights on and their doors open. They don't answer, so it's kind of one of those things. But in our very old house, right around the corner,
which house? First house, second house?
No, the first house we lived in before we moved. And it was going down to Forest Park where we lived. And if you went down that road where you turn left, I forget the name of the road, but on that street, there was this house that was set back a little bit, almost like a rotting wood type house. Everything's overgrown. You look at it and you're like, dude, I don't think anybody lives there. But apparently somebody did live there. Sometimes when we would go by to the park, the light was on. There was like a faint light downstairs in what seemed to be the living room. And I remember that was always like the creepy house. And we'd always go by, stop, stare. There's one night we were walking around and people were daring each other to go up. We got pretty much into the yard, but then never onto the porch.
You took off running or you just turned and walked away?
I mean, we were so young. I don't remember exactly. I could still picture this house in my mind.
I don't remember the house at all. I was too young, definitely, to remember that.
Greg, when you went trick or treating, were there ever any houses like that you remember where you're like, I'm not going up, or like everyone in your group was afraid to go, but you're like, dude, I'll go up there? Nothing like that?
No, I don't really have that. I remember, just if the light wasn't on or you didn't think anyone was home, you just blow by the house. But I don't remember being ever afraid to go up to somebody's house.
See, I got a house in my neighborhood. This one's creepy, and I've shared this story with you guys plenty of times.
They beat the shit out of their trash.
It is weird. And I filmed it for you guys. I don't want to film it and put it on this episode.
Yep.
But
we're going to share it in the show notes.
We're not going to share it because to keep them privacy. I do call them the Klopeks.
Write Matt a letter.
Here we go.
Write Matt a letter.
And he'll send you the video.
Come to the video store, and then you can also come to the actual studio, bro.
Hey, man.
You want to come to the studio? I'll say that on every episode.
I will until
Write
somebody writes a letter.
Until someone writes a letter. Now you want people to write a letter. First it was like subscribe.
Yeah.
Then it was comment. Now it's write a letter.
Write a letter.
So now it's getting a little bit more elaborate.
Yep, write a letter.
Tour the studio.
Greg is always doesn't have any stories to share.
So what's this with the neighbor? What is this? What's the deal with this neighbor? Because I did see that one clip, but you never really said like what the story is with this neighbor.
I mean, they just keep to themselves. That's why I call them the Klopeks, because you never really see them. Don't get me wrong. I have talked to them before. Wow. So like there was a couple, because they decorate to the nines for every holiday. They're really nice people, but they keep to themselves for sure. Anything that you could think of for service wise, they have people coming over at all hours of the day, which I also think is very funny, is because they have to know these people are coming to their house, and they'll go up to the door, ring the doorbell, and then it would take about like 15 minutes sometimes for them to answer the door.
15 minutes?
It's an exaggeration, but
yeah, but a long time.
If somebody knocks at your door, it's like, oh, I'm coming, blah, blah, blah. Like, I know somebody's coming over, and then you go answer the door. But this is like, all right, I know someone's coming over, and I'm just watching the movie. I'm going to wait till the next commercial and then come and answer the door. That's like how ridiculous it is. But what gets really weird is when they come home from work, they park their cars.
I really hope they listen to this podcast.
How would they ever listen to this podcast? Anyway,
I'm going to leave a sticker.
Here we go. I'm going to leave a sticker
in their
and then
mailbox.
say subscribe and write into Matt, and then you can come tour the studio.
That would be great if they did.
Yeah. No, I mean, maybe one day they will. I'll invite them over.
Because this is your current neighbor.
This is my current neighbor. Yeah. I did tell them one time I want to have like a block party for Halloween, and they'd be like, oh, that's a great idea. We would all be for it. But I don't know if they would truly come. But anyway, they park their cars in the garage. So you never see their car. So you never know if they're home or not.
I mean, that's smart, though.
Yeah, smart. Security.
Smart. But here's where it gets really weird. And I've videotaped this a couple times for you guys. So they'll come home from work. Friday's trash day around here for the cul-de-sac.
Who's going to pick up the trash?
Right.
You. Because you're a garbage man.
Right. And so what they do is they'll pull up to the driveway where the garbage can is.
Love it.
The kids will get out, take the garbage can to the side of the house. Kids will walk back to the car, get in, and they'll drive into the garage. Which is funny because where they put the garbage can is literally right next to the garage that they're pulling in. So you would think when they pull up to the driveway and they open up the garage door, the kids would just bring the garbage can to the side, boom, and then walk right in, go to the house. But no. Bring the garbage can to the side of the house, get back into the car, and then drive into the house. And they do the same thing with the mail. Like they'll come in, they'll park, bloop, right by the mailbox. Somebody will get out. They'll get out, grab the mail, and then get back in the car and go into the house.
Now, when they get out of the car to go into the house, do they close the garage door like you don't see them get out of the car?
I just explained this.
No. I know his question.
Once they get back in the car, drive into the garage, do they
wait for the garage to fully close before they get out?
Oh, that's what you're asking.
Yeah, before they get out of the car. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, it seems that way because I've never seen him like get out of the car. So sometimes I almost think that they're going to hit the garage door because like when they're coming down the street.
Dude, that's so weird.
they like hit the button and they're going into the garage and the garage is like still going up and they'll freaking go right in.
That is weird.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, one day they're just going to hit the garage. Like they're going to go faster than the garage is actually going to go up, because the minute they get in, even if the garage is like still going, they're like, boop, hit that button. It comes right back down.
Maybe they're real paranoid about people breaking into their house.
I don't know, but there was another
Maybe they're in the witness protection.
They could be. I'm not going to give too much information about these people. They're very lovely.
People live on road.
Yeah, we live on Mayfield Place. That's all you need to know. My name's Ray Peterson. They lived across the street from me. Another thing too, this reminded me of the Burbs.
They're in the WITSEC program.
Because do you remember in the Burbs the scene where he's coming down the street and like the other people are backing out of their driveway and they're just like honking their horn like crazy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? So this reminded me of the Burbs in that way, because one time one of them was coming home, or they had some type of service because there was a truck in there. And this truck was from another state. Like I'm talking down south, like North Carolina. Now they weren't blocking the driveway. This person could easily pull into the garage and get in. All of a sudden I was in the kitchen. I just hear like excessive horn, just until somebody came out of the house, one of the workers, I'm assuming, and then they said something, and then they just pulled in. So I don't know what that was about. Like they do weird things like this all the time.
I'm gonna say they're in the witness protection.
Have you ever noticed like what they do at night? Like have you ever gone out late and just kind of like checked to see if something weird's going on?
No, because their shades are always shut.
Always shut. Wow.
Yeah, they're always shut. There's sometimes, they had the front door open and they had that glass panel in the door, see through, but you never really see anything. Even like during Halloween, I'll tell you this, like during Halloween, they decorate. So like when people see the house, there's like a guy in between us that doesn't decorate. They're decked out more than I am. Trick-or-treaters will usually go over. And again, the door will be open and they'll be knocking, and then it'll be like 10 minutes later, somebody will come, oh, here's some candy. It's like, what are they doing? I never know what they're doing over there.
Are they disabled?
No. This is my last story for them. One of my buddies came over one time, and he's a landscaper, and he had his truck out front. This you'll get a good kick out of. He was out front. We were just like bullshitting. And all of a sudden he gets a phone call and he's like, oh yeah. I'm just thinking it's for work. Cause he's like, yeah, I'll take a look at your lawn.
It was these people.
Yeah. And he's like, dude, where's this address? And I'm like, what? He's like, where's this address? I'm like, that's right across the street.
Yes.
What? He's like, they just called me. They want an estimate. I was like, what? They already have a lawn service. What do they want an estimate for? He's like, they wanted to ask for like a fall cleanup.
They're watching people.
So they're watching people.
That was the thing. He walked over there. He knocked on the door. Again, it took a little bit for them to actually answer. Even though you just called and you're watching us stand out there. They were definitely looking out the window and be like, oh, we should call this company.
Wow.
So they watched the neighborhood. So
that's why I call the neighbors that live across the street from me the Klopek.
I think I'm convinced they're in a witness protection
this is
program.
Great Burbs Day. I love Burbs Day because we have the Burbs on in the background. Greg's peering over to watch it. It's a staple.
I think it is real. I think people do have these stories, except for Greg.
Greg's boring.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, we lived on a street that had a cul-de-sac. There were these creepy neighbors who, like the Klopeks, you never saw them go in, you never saw them go out, you never saw a moving truck. However, there was always the kid on the block in every street. There's always that kid on the block. But we had that kid on the block who supposedly saw them move in. He was saying that coming out of the moving truck were all these cages, like different size cages, aquarium tanks. It's like, how much shit are you bringing? How many animals are you bringing into this house? Like it was a pet store. But of course, we never saw this. But what we did see was that house was like all overgrown with foliage. Like it was one of those houses where you couldn't see that path going up to the front door. Like there was the driveway, but then there was a path that went from the driveway and then one from the sidewalk, and it kind of snaked up to the front door. But it was like you couldn't see that full path because there's just shit growing everywhere, all over it. So like at Halloween time, of course, we were not going to go up there because the garage is there, but then the front door is set back. And so you had to walk through this gate, and it was just tons of foliage. You couldn't see the path, no light on at Halloween. It was like there was no way we were going up to that house. So we would skip it every year. And there was one year where we thought, we're going to go up to that house. And one of my friends was going up, and then Tom was like, I'm not going up there, Mike. I'm not going up. So, of course, we didn't go up.
I mean, it is like fear fatigue.
And that's where Tom is. That's why he's still missing today. Walter's still missing because he's at that house.
To this day. I will say that once they were in that house, we started noticing a lot of the neighborhood animals going missing.
Family pets.
No way. They're probably selling them like on the black market for like.
I swear to you, little cats, dogs. Yeah, it was like they were gone. Of course, there's the one kid in the neighborhood who's like, you never see them go in. You don't see them go out. What do you think they're eating in there, Ray?
You're eating this.
That was happening.
So what happened when you got older?
Stealing the little Frenchies.
The animals were going missing. Granted, it could have been coyotes. We lived like near mountains, hills and stuff. So, or perhaps it was whatever they had in that house. We get a little older. I think I was probably in like 6th grade, maybe. One of the other kids on the block was like, hey, do you guys want to go swimming in a black bottom pool? And I was like, what the heck's a black bottom pool? And he's like, yeah, we all have, like, we live in Southern California. Everyone has a pool. So it was like, I don't need to go to someone else's pool, but it was a black bottom pool. So it was like, okay, like everyone starts like, yeah, I'll go. Yeah. And then the kids who didn't have a pool, they're like, yeah, let's go. I want to go swimming. So we all go to this house.
Wait. So this kid lived there?
No, he didn't live there. He was friends with someone there. No, we never saw these people.
Wait, so you didn't see the friend that lived at the house?
The friend of the friend.
The friend didn't live at the house. The friend lived on another down the street, but he befriend.
Yeah, but how did you get into the yard then?
He knew the Klopeks.
Okay, so that's where we are. So the friend came to us and said, "Hey, do you want to go to this black bottom pool?"
Okay.
Eventually, we all say yeah, and then it come to find out, it's the Klopek house.
Okay.
This is in the middle of the day, the middle of the summer, and we start walking up that path that's kind of not there. And it's like, I'm telling, like Tom and I were both going, and I was like,
Mike was scared.
I kind of want to turn back. I don't want to go in this house. I've heard about these cages, the aquariums. Yeah, like I kind of was. I swear, like they opened the front door, and right away it's like, there's a fat aquarium here with this huge freaking snake. Next to that is this cage with rabbits in it. There's like birds in this house. There's animals like running all around, dogs, cats. And then we get outside to see this pool. And yeah, it's a black bottom pool. And while you could still see through the water, it was still kind of creepy. Like it felt like you couldn't really see what might have been swimming in that pool.
So wait, it was an actual pool, like painted at the bottom, like black, or was it like one of those pond pools?
It's painted, yeah.
Don't go in.
It's a regular pool, but it's just painted dark.
Did you go in?
I did go in, but I got out really quick because I do not like not seeing what's in the water. Like, I don't like swimming in the ocean.
Did you talk to the kid who lived there?
Not really.
Oh my Lord.
We swam for a little bit, and then I was like, hey, we have to go, or my mom's coming home. And we took off, and that was that.
So they were just nice people trying to, have some fun in the neighborhood. They just didn't take care of the lawn.
Yeah, they had a lot of
animals. They loved animals. And
they could have been, or they could have had, who even knows what was in the back rooms, because there were probably more animals there. Who knows if they had a Tasmanian devil.
And that's where Walter is still today.
Could be. And who knows what was in that black bottom pool. If there was an alligator, I would not have known because you couldn't really see. But it was creepy. And even after that, but I never did go trick-or-treating there. And then we moved when I was in 7th grade. So who knows whatever happened to them.
Sad.
That is sad. Mike and I came to the table with some good stories for Burbs Day. Greg,
no,
he just wants people to write in.
Greg, you've got nothing? Like no crazy neighbors, no neighbors chanting, nothing?
No.
You know what the thing is? We probably don't even know this, but Greg is probably that crazy neighbor.
I probably am. I'm always outside. I'm always taking care of my lawn.
Yeah. He's the guy who snaps.
Yeah, probably.
And he has dead bodies in his basement. He's the one that probably has Walter in the basement.
My neighborhood's very nice.
Greg, are you the one who's getting the Uber Eats and all that? Are you ordering in like no one sees you?
No, that's a next door neighbor.
I'm surprised you didn't share a story about
Which one?
the true Klopeks that lived 2 houses down from us that when you would drive on, like there was a park.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I thought you were going to share that, but you never did.
But I knew them. Or I got to know them.
Yeah, but that was later on when
and
we
they
were kids.
Why didn't you tell the story?
Because I already had like a full story about my neighbors here, and I didn't want to share like 20 million stories.
What's the story, Greg?
So our house growing up, we
lived on a dead end.
We did live on
it
a
wasn't
dead
a cul-de-sac.
end. Our godmother lived my godmother lived next door to us. And then beyond that, there was a piece of property. It was almost like a farm type deal.
It was a farm.
With a long dirt road driveway.
Do not trespass.
Do not trespass.
Okay.
They had big black gates.
Which means welcome.
Up by the house. A high fence around the whole property.
Yep.
And we would cut through their driveway because it led to a park. Maybe like, I don't know.
It was like
40, 50 feet on their dirt road driveway. And then you would hop over like a little fence, and then you would drive or ride your bike to the park.
Well, yeah, we were on a dead end. So the dead end, there was 3 houses, and we were part of that dead end of the 3 houses. We were there, and yeah, that long driveway sat next to a cul-de-sac.
Yep.
So there was you could see it from the end of our street, and there was a little guardrail. So all you really had to do was run through the neighbor's property, not even really go on their driveway per se.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 feet the most.
Yeah, and hop over.
And then hop over the guardrail and then go to, the park that was pretty much at the end of that block, which it felt like it saved like 20 minutes.
It didn't save probably much.
Yeah, it probably didn't save that much from going around the block, but this guy drove a red pickup truck.
He did.
And he would scare the crap out of people, and he stole our neighbor's bike one night, supposedly. And my friend, he swears by this because he's like, dude, I was over there, and he would always leave his bike on the front lawn. So he's like, we cut through one day. My buddy left, his bike out. My dad would always yell at us, "Don't leave the bikes out. Put them inside immediately when you're done."
Yep.
But my buddy left his bike out, and the next day it was missing, and he swore he saw it. We'll call him the Klopeks, in the Klopeks red truck as he drove by. He's like, I saw my handlebars
in the truck.
So like
supposedly, but yeah, so they had like a lot of animals. You would hear like chickens and stuff.
Dude, it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like it's just like bones and like.
We went to high school with one of the kids that lived in the house. So you would see them driving up and down. You would see the dad pickup truck driving up and down.
I think it was their grandfather, actually.
Yeah, maybe the grandfather. Yeah, it wasn't creepy as it was just the guy didn't like people being on his property.
Yeah. So I'm surprised you didn't share that story. It was a good one. It was a good memory too. So I feel like everybody has those creepy people in their neighborhood and they may not even know it.
The other thing too about people with a ton of animals, like the house I was talking about, you go in, there's like bowls of food everywhere and like bird seed.
It smells. It's hot. It's usually hot.
Yeah, it usually is hot and it smells
really hot.
Litter boxes. Yeah, and it reminds me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre when you went in that house and there's like chicken bones and just like shit hanging from the ceiling and stuff. Just creepy like that. I'm not hating on animal people, but like that house was creepy.
I mean, I got a cat. It's named Pumpkin.
There you go. I had a dog.
How else would you celebrate the Burbs Day? Because this is what it's all about. We just wanted to share some, creepy stories, to kind of get you in the mood, get you ready for summer, to keep those spooky stories going until we get to Halloween, which is only 153 days away.
Yeah, I mean, I think that on May 31st, you watch the Burbs. You got to call the pizza dude.
Pizza dude's coming.
Pizza dude. You got to get sardines and pretzels.
Oh.
No way. Maybe
No.
pretzels, no sardines.
No sardines.
You got to make brownies,
Yeah, Greg's making the brownies.
smash them up like they fell through the porch,
There go the goddamn brownies.
because there go the goddamn brownies, and then serve them like that. You can dress up. Like I have this hat, like Hans' hat. It's a little different. Hans was more like a Pinocchio hat, but
Do you
Yeah.
think if we actually did go as like, say we went to like a Halloween party and all dressed up like Burbs characters, do you think people would know? Or they'd be like, what the hell are you?
I will say this: if someone did know, then that person is cool. Because like Matt, you'd go with the robe, the coffee. Greg, you'd have to go with the army get up, night vision.
Yeah, I would love to see Greg with the army vest on, puts on the glasses, scruff, you know.
That would be kind of cool. I like that
I
costume.
have the dog tags, the short shorts, and the fucking boots.
And like a folded up American flag.
Yeah.
I think I would have to go with Art's golfing gear. Although then most people would just think I'm a golfer.
Yeah.
But if the three of us went in like that, and then Tom comes in dressed as Walter with the little dog, I mean,
With the wig?
With the wig on, yeah.
That'd be good.
with the sweater, and then we pull up in a Chemlon. We got to pull up in a Chemlon truck or whatever that car was. That was in our trivia. What was that car? Was it a Buick or an Oldsmobile?
I got to look that up again.
I mean, overall, I think the message to psychos, fanatics, murderers, and nutcases all over the world is do not mess with suburbanites, because frankly, we're just not going to take it anymore. We're not going to be content to look after our lawns and wax our cars, paint our houses. We are out to get them. We are out to get them.
We are out to get them. Maybe not Greg, but me and Art are definitely out to get them for sure. I want to leave you with this though. We always like to do some trivia on here. Greg, do not look. Don't look. We're doing some trivia. We do Halloweeniacs trivia at the end of each show, and I wanted to share this from the Burbs. It's kind of a tie-in. I made the question a tie-in to Halloween and the Burbs. The 1989 Burbs classic, what creepy action, we'll do it one. What creepy action do the Klopeks take to make their neighbors even more suspicious and would freak them out or freak out any trick-or-treaters from going up to their house? That could be one of them.
What do you mean actions? Like
There was one action where Ray Peterson saw them do. It was like, all right, if I saw my neighbors do this,
they're digging in the back of the lawn.
There you go.
Well, grave digging for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, grave digging in
They're
the
fishermen.
back.
They're fishermen.
Grave dig. Fishermen.
Yeah, they're digging from night
Ding,
crawlers.
ding, ding. Yep, they're grave digging in the back. Anyway, man, I love being a Halloweeniac, and I love this neighborhood. If you're a fellow Halloweeniac, you already know what to do. Help spread the words. Keep those jack-o'-lanterns lit all year long, and make sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and write in a letter like Greg wants you to.
I would
Write
love letters.
a little love letter to the Burbs and to
Yep.
the Halloweeniacs.
Help us raise money to get Mike a new hat.
Yeah, definitely get a new hat.
There we got to get that Hans Pinocchio hat.
Until we meet in the pumpkin patch at the end of Mayfield Place,
Yo, Robsfield!
stay spooky.
Hey, Pinocchio! It's the closest thing I have to it.
Please wear that the whole time. It'd be great.
I am going to wear it through the whole thing.
Idiot.